This video is an addendum to the previous videos on the onBeforerSQLCommandExecute and onAfterSQLCommandExecute events, and in this video I'd like to discuss how you can use these two events to wrap your update, insert or delete in a transaction. And you would want to do that if at the same time that you're doing, say, an update, you also enter some additional records into some other table or update some other table, and you'd like the update of the table that the grid is based on and also the other table to either succeed or fail. So a transaction is the perfect way of doing that. So here we'll just demonstrate how a transaction in fact works. So you can see here in my onBeforerSQLCommandExecute, I actually don't need that over there. I've just simply got e.cn, which is the connection object that gets passed into the event handler. I do a begin transaction, and then you can see here in the after SQL command I do a rollback transaction. So this means that any update that I actually do right now is going to be rolled back, and so no update should actually happen because the transaction is being cancelled. So let's check that out. So let's go here to owner and type in manager, and now try to commit that record, and you can see that as soon as I try to commit the record, it changes back to owner because the transaction was rolled back. So now if I go back here and I comment out that line and comment in that line over there, you can see now instead of rolling back the transaction, we're committing the transaction. So now let's go here and go here and type in mgr dot and then hit the save button, and you can see that this time the record was saved because the transaction was committed. So the other thing that I'd also like to discuss in this video, because it's important if you're going to be writing your own event handler, is a little bit more about this e.args XML argument. So I'm going to go here, and since we're not going to be using transactions anymore, let me turn those off, and I'm going to just go here and put in a debug1 statement. So and let's go now to working preview, and I'm going to go ahead now and change several fields in, say, this record over there. So I'll go here and type in John Smith, manager, and 123 Main Street. So let's go ahead now and press the save button, and now if we look at let's clear out our watches and go here e.SQL, you can see here that basically the SQL statement refers to several different arguments, and e.args XML is the XML representation of the arguments that that have been set over here. So you can see here is an argument called new contact name, which is John Smith, and there's new contact title, there's new address, and then there's old contact name, which was Maria Anders, etc. So the arguments are passed in XML format. So if I wanted to actually use those arguments in the event handler, I would need to convert them from their XML representation into real arguments. So let's go ahead now, and the way that I would do that is I would just simply say dim args as SQL : arguments, and then args.xml equals e.args XML. So now I have a real live argument object which has been reconstituted from the persisted XML version, and now I can use those in my script. So let's go ahead now and go here and just again type